CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
CMPRadio.net. It's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see, no, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this window into how medicinal herbs are transforming health, well-being, and the overall life quality of friends and neighbors in these challenging times. More and more people are learning about the benefits of complementary alternative medicine, particularly plant medicine, in the form of medicinal herbs which can transform the quality of our lives, our health, and our well-being. My name is Pamela Boyce Sims, and I convene the African Diaspora Earth Care Coalition and Singularity Botanicals, two organizations dedicated to putting control of health, self-care, and well-being back into the hands of individuals and communities. We have learned so many lessons about how fragile the healthcare system is. We've seen how systems that we always thought we could count on can be disrupted in the blink of an eye. So we work with communities which are the most vulnerable to climate change, which are suffering from extremely toxic environmental pollution and chronic intergenerational illnesses, to grow and enjoy the benefits of their own plant medicine. The African Diaspora Earth Care Coalition and our distributor, Singularity Botanicals, partner with a wide variety of medicinal herb grow sites in our hub state of Pennsylvania and all around the country. Our medicinal herb partners range from tiny house cooperatives to small farms, Quaker meetings and Baptist congregations, Buddhist monasteries, to community centers and arboretums. Today, we're going to hear from some of the people who are enjoying stronger, more robust health as a function of taking our medicinal herbs, and learn about what interested people in growing medicinal herbs in and for distressed, climate change vulnerable populations. How long had you been dealing with the condition before you decided to go with medicinal herbs?
Okay, so for years, we actually both grew up in Chester. I know there's a lot of refineries and things in the area, but for years I had this mucusy feeling in my chest, and I had this terrible cough that I couldn't get rid of. I went to the doctors a few times. I've tried allergy medications. I've tried steroids. I've tried all types of things, and in the end, the medicinal herbs was the one thing that I actually saw an instant improvement. Like, I actually could feel my symptoms relieving and see them go away. It was crazy. It's definitely crazy.
Wow. So when you say congestion, was it problems breathing, not being able to take deep breaths, or was it kind of rattly or phlegmy or wheezing?
Definitely rattly. Like, if I would inhale, I would always go into a cough. Or at night, I would wake up in the middle of the night just coughing and coughing and coughing. And they always told me it was something called postnasal drip.
Okay.
So, I went to pharmacy technician school, so I knew a lot about medication. And I always chose not to take medication, the medication route. So I didn't want to keep doing, all the prescriptions and things like that. That just wasn't working out. I thought I was allergic. We had a cat at a point. I thought I was allergic to the cat. We stopped doing animals. We started dusting more. We started opening windows in the wintertime, just everything. And there was literally no relief, literally nothing.
Gosh. So describe how, when you're taking the medicinal herbs, can you describe what your breathing is like, or how did you know that there was a change? I mean, can you describe physically what was going on there?
Well, I started in about August, and I want to say like the beginning of September was a little rough because it was kind of like, I guess I could feel it breaking up. It was kind of getting worse. You know, one of those things that gets worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of could feel like my chest loosening up, and I was bringing up all kinds of things. But
good.
Like by the end of September, I was inhaling and exhaling. I'm like, wow, you hear that? Like, I'm not coping. It was definitely different. It was very different. Very different.
It was in a really good place, you know, because I had just been moving in with my grandmother for like the last couple of months, and I had issues stockpiling on each other. I had trouble sleeping. That was just a detriment to just the amount of work I was putting in through college and stuff. And then came the memory loss when I got sick last year. So for some reason, I just couldn't retain the same information that I used to. You know, pen and paper helped me manage a little bit, but at that point, it was just like I had no idea how to get that extra step to feel better. Now, my grandmother, you know, she's very strong on herbal teas and just drinking, eating healthy in general. So when we went to one of these functions, I was like, oh, sure, I'll just go with your grandma, just make sure you're all right, you know. And then when we actually got there, it was like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of stuff here for me too. So, you know, I started reading around, and when it was the first event that I went to where I had the personal trainer, that's where my outlook on just what I can do to change myself really just started expanding there, because it just went from, okay, well, maybe just a therapist or something will probably help me out. But then I realized there's stuff that I can do myself, right? I could actually get up out the bed and go to the gym or something, or, you know, take a little bit of supplements a day to get me to go by. And that's something that I hold dearly these last couple of months. I'm telling you, if you had seen me from June into now, you think I'm a completely different person. Like, my energy is different, my attitude. I move a lot better now. You know, I have a consistent schedule at the gym. I'm, you know, doing well in an internship. Like, it's, you know, it's funny how a lot of these things just kind of line up, but it really just started with that changed mindset that I just wanted better for myself. And luckily, you guys kind of helped me out at the right time. You know,
members of Harrisburg Friends Quaker Meeting, Pennsylvania Plant Medicine Grow Site Partners talk about how their group went through the process of becoming a medicinal herb grow site. They now produce nettle root, which is an ingredient in one of our men's health tonics, and dandelion root, a liver cleanser that detoxifies the body. Partner grow sites at a distance from eastern Pennsylvania grow sites cultivate herbs whose medicinal properties are found in the roots, which can be more easily shipped here to us in eastern Pennsylvania. They grow echinacea, burdock, ashwagandha, dandelion root, elecampane, valerian, and nettle root. Let's take a listen to how their Quaker meeting became a medicinal herb grow site that will serve community members where their Quaker meetings are located in Harrisburg.
I heard about it and became curious when I was involved with the Community Supported Enlightenment run by Pamela. And during some of those sessions, and I ended up asking Pamela about it and decided to bring it to the meeting.
A group of us that were interested in Carter's leading, and so then he arranged for Pamela to speak to us. And this was about a year later, so this was in the spring of 2021 when she actually spoke to our core group, and she outlined the project and how her organization would pay for the materials, and basically Harrisburg Friends Meeting, if we were interested, would supply the sweat equity of creating the beds and planting the things and harvesting. And she told us like exactly what we needed to do and told us what to start with, which would be easier. And so a kind of a group came together and said, okay.
If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Oh, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me, stand by me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wellbeing, Adventures in Holistic Health. As the saying goes, we live in uncertain times. However, times have been dangerous and uncertain for people of African descent, African Americans, Black and brown people in this country for 400 years. That's not news. But the fact is, we are still here. What is news is that in addition to the baked-in, systemically unequal treatment that we've always experienced in this culture and in this country, we now live in an era when the changes that the earth is undergoing threaten the very existence of life as we know it in our lifetimes. And Black and brown communities are on the front line. The supply chain and systems disruption, climate change connection, has been and will continue to hit us, Black and brown communities, first and worst. However, the power to thrive lies within us. We have proven that over and over again. We are a resilient people who survive, thrive, and are still here. In these uncertain times, we would be wise to face the reality that when the chips are down, we are 100% responsible for our own self-care, our own health, and our own well-being. The whole country has learned over the course of the past 2 years, through COVID-19, through the COVID Delta variant, and now the Omicron variant, that the healthcare system that we thought we could count on is overloaded, understaffed, and ill-equipped to cope effectively with the types of pandemics that we're in for in the future. It's broken. And again, Black and brown communities have learned that lesson the hard way bearing the brunt of suffering and loss. Yet, we are not afraid. We are still here. We survive and we thrive. Now that we've learned the inaccessible healthcare lesson over and over again, let's vow to make the decision to pick up the ball and get serious about fending for ourselves, taking command and control, tending to our own health care, our own self-care. Let's go back to the natural roots of medicine, natural holistic plant medicine, which actually takes us back to our own roots. Here in Chester, Pennsylvania, nonprofit organizations called the African Diaspora Coalition and Singularity Botanicals are working with Chestorians, learning to understand and grow their own superb quality plant medicine, plant-based herbal medicine. So, when there are protests, looting and or shooting in Philadelphia and Chester, and those pharmacies that stock our diabetes and high blood pressure medications close their doors, we are not up a creek without a paddle. We're not stuck waiting to be rescued and suffering. Before the next emergency, when the supermarket and pharmacy shelves are picked bare, before the electrical outages, the grid goes down and we don't have electricity to keep our insulin and other medications refrigerated. Before the next pandemic that comes down the pike fills the hospitals to the point where all of the other illnesses from which people suffer can't be treated. Before flooding cuts us off from access to health care. Before that happens, before our families cannot evacuate in these floods, we will have already learned how natural, alternative, healthy, effective, locally accessible herbal medicine with no side effects, imagine that, no side effects, works in our bodies to heal us. We will have already learned how medicinal herbs powerfully treat the intergenerational diseases that affect the Black community and have for 400 years in rates 3 to 4 times higher than the general population. We're talking about the diseases which we all know, the diseases which we can't walk 2 feet before knowing and coming across someone in our family that we love or in our community who suffers with diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, COPD, all types of respiratory diseases due to air pollution, the heavily particulate-laden air that we are breathing in Chester and in Delaware County. The intense chronic stress to which we all are subject with the amount of gun violence and intense interracial conflict in this country, intense chronic stress, PTSD. It's not just the veterans, it's all of us. Sadness, depression, at the amount of loss that we have suffered in the course of these pandemic years, watching family and friends who have made their transition as a function of respiratory distress, anxiety, prostate and other types of cancers that have been worsened by the toxic environment in which we live. There are cancer clusters in Chester. Heart disease, which is rampant, arthritis and a host of inflammatory illnesses. But friends, we've got this. We've got this with medicinal herbs. Plant medicine offers a pathway toward health that works, that doesn't have dozens of side effects that are worse than the illness itself. Think of the commercials we watch when half of the advertisement for the drug is hundreds of side effects that can literally take your life. We've got this. We can take control ourselves along with community members utilizing natural plant medicine that is locally accessible regardless of power outages, regardless of supply chain disruption, empty market and pharmacy shelves. We're growing medicinal herbs, plant medicine right here in Chester, Pennsylvania, and throughout the state of Pennsylvania. We have grow sites right around the corner from you at Shiloh Baptist Church on Central Avenue, at Chester Friends Quaker Meeting House at the corner of 24th and Chestnut Street, at the Chester Senior Center on Hayes Street off of 9th. We also have grow sites in Cheney and deeper in Pennsylvania in Port Royal, Harrisburg, and State College. And just so you know, we do have grow sites all over the country sending us root crops, medicinal herbs here to Chester from Ohio, from Vermont, from New York, from Texas, from Maryland. Grow sites that care enough about Chesterians and the health that we all are dealing with here in Chester and Delaware County, that they're supporting us here. The two people that were interviewed in the tape that was earlier on and expressed their experience with medicinal herbs in the video that was played at the top of the program really exemplify the fact that there is no better way to let people know about the power of plant medicine than by satisfied clients' word of mouth. They said it so clearly. The two people interviewed both learned about medicinal herbs from family members in Chester who had themselves attended our events, began taking the herbal tinctures, which are medicinal drops, using our teas and our fire cider blends, and who got serious, real relief from the illnesses they were experiencing. They told their families, and their stronger health was obvious to those around them, who then decided to try it. Word of mouth is traveling intergenerationally in Chester, from grandparents to parents to adult children. The two people that you saw interviewed were grandchildren of people who passed the word down through the generations here in Chester. And as a result of that, we are now working with church groups. We have online webinars. We'll be going this Saturday to a church event now that we actually have the opportunity to meet in person again, to distribute these tinctures and teas. We met with the professional Black women's service organizations in the area and Chester chapters of long-standing service organizations and community groups. So, just to backtrack a bit, what is plant medicine? When I say plant medicine, what I'm referring to is the fact that each plant, each herb that we grow, has its own signature healing property that treats specific illnesses, strengthens specific organs, or strengthens specific organ systems. So, we grow herbs at the Chester Senior Center on 24th and Chestnut, at Shiloh Baptist Church in Cheney, and then we dehydrate some of those herbs and blend them, and we offer you packets of loose tea and lots of ways to use them. reusable tea bags and tea balls and teapots and that kind of thing, so you can easily work with these dehydrated herbs as teas. We also offer you tinctures. And what a tincture is after we grow, harvest, and wash the plants here in Chester and around the country and in Pennsylvania, I place the plant material in large gallon batch jars, glass batch jars, and I use organic grain alcohol. I can also use glycerin to draw out the medicinal properties. Again, each plant has its own signature from the plant matter, and I let it sit on the shelf of my apothecary anywhere from 6 weeks to literally years that it can stay on the shelf because it's in alcohol or in the glycerin. The plant the plant material is then decanted. I strain it. I remove the plants, and the medicine then stays in the liquid, which I then offer to you in those dropper bottles. That is a tincture. And we invite you to take those tinctures in a little bit of water. You can put them in your tea, you can put them in juice, and it's like taking concentrated, powerful food in the form of a liquid that is very, very easily for your body, easily digested, metabolized, and infused throughout your body so that you're getting that medicinal value. So, grown right here, Chester, Pennsylvania, no side effects, healing plant medicine that is not subject to supply chain disruption. It's available to you here and now. We are pleased to share the information with your group or offer individual wellness consultations here in Chester. And we ask you to consider yourself invited to any one of our events. We welcome everyone, and we really would love to introduce you to the marvels of what plant medicine can do for your health, your family, and your community.